River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has said that his administration has started the process of preparing the 2025 budget. This is as the governor insisted that the seats of Martin Amehule and the other state lawmakers who defected from the People's Democratic Party to All Progressive Congress remain vacant. The governor spoke when he received on solidarity visits opinion leaders, women and youths of Eche and Omuma local government areas, led by Obaka Eche at the government house in Port Harcourt, the state capital, on Wednesday. This was contained in a statement issued by his chief press secretary, Nelson Chukwudi. The governor urged the former lawmakers to wake up from their slumber to see the ship of governance in the state is sailing on smoothly. Fubara also said that his administration has started preparing details of the 2025 appropriation bill with priority placed on education, healthcare, and agriculture. He said, "Let me assure you that agriculture is an area that we have promised the very special and peace-loving people of River State that our 2025 budget, which we have already started preparing, will address. Don't bother about those people who are delusional. They think we are sleeping. Let me tell you people that they can hear anywhere they are. I wanted to help them sincerely, but because I know them. And I have said it before, these are people that I have helped. I have paid their children's school fees. I have paid their house rent, so I wanted to help them. We all knew what happened when they defected, and how did they cross? Because of our God. For them to make that mistake, they crossed. They are gone, and they are gone. Now, let me tell you, when I wanted to help them, I accepted to help them because we are all one. We disagree to agree, as it is said." Ndamzi, what is your take on the speech, the statement by the governor?
Thank you very much. Honestly, I think, like I have said in different forums, that the governor is ill-advised. I wonder what his legal team are doing, because they are not advising him correctly. It is very obvious that the 2024 budget that is in dispute, that budget, it's not a living budget as far as I'm concerned. Looking at the position of the law is tried as to quorum of the House of Assembly before any decision can pass. And also the Supreme Court in different occasions have reiterated that before a quorum can be ascertained to have met its state, it must be 1/3 of the House. This is the law, and it has nothing to do with politics. You see, people have really misunderstood the issues on ground. Fine. Let's assume in anybody's thought that as at the time the budget was passed, Edison was the speaker. Let's assume. Because in the eyes of the law, Edison Ehe was never a speaker of River State House of Assembly. That is the law. Now, as at the time they presented the budget,
Hold on. When you said Edison Ehe was never the speaker of River State House of Assembly.
Yes, of course.
Now, you would remember that Justice Danagogo of River State High Court, recognized Edison Ehe as the speaker.
Now, let's look at it squarely. Justice Danagogo recognizing Edison as speaker, Justice Danagogo's court never had jurisdiction in the first place.
But now the argument would be this. At no point in time, you might correct me if I am mistaken, but was there any time that the judgment of Justice Danagogo was appealed? Was it appealed? It was, to the best of my knowledge, it wasn't. What was appealed was the ruling and the order of Justice Wale of River State High Court. So people would say the court cannot grant you what you did not pray for. That's what lawyers usually say.
That's true.
Yes. And at no time did Martin Amehule appeal that particular judgment or that ruling.
Do not forget that there is a federal high court order by Justice Okunowo, okay? And there is also a federal high court order of Justice Omotosho. These are valid and legal running orders that have not been vacated.
But so, was the Nagogo's order vacated? It wasn't vacated, was it?
See, what is happening in Rivers State Judiciary, in fact, judiciary and quote, is extreme rascality. Okay. Rascality in the sense that a judge knows that him or her doesn't have jurisdiction to hear a matter. But for want of whatever, they would assume jurisdiction and hear the matter and take rascal decisions. It is trite. Even our learned senior advocates will agree with me that high courts of a state does not have jurisdiction when it talk of House of Assembly concerns. And I'm very happy that the Court of Appeal have reiterated that position, because we have shouted it here on several occasions. People thought we are joking, but the law is the law. The law has nothing to do with politics. If you look at the sequence of the orders, where they are emanating from, and the ones coming from the Federal High Court, which, in the right sense, let's assume that these courts do not have coordinate jurisdiction, which, in the right sense, should a right-thinking person obey? It is the one of the Federal High Court. So I think in the best interest of Rivers State, because Rivers State doesn't belong to one man. We are all Rivers indigents, and we want the best for our state. We want the best for the children coming up. We want this best for the posterity. We want law and order here in Rivers State to be obeyed. I find it very disturbing when governors, make inflammatory statements. Fine, His Excellency is doing well. We applaud him in that regard, but he should not assume the position of the court. The arms of government are separated. We have the judiciary, we have the legislature, and we have the executive. He should remain within the confines of what the Constitution allotted to him as a governor. The governor shouldn't make statements that will add more flame to the existing fire. We all want peace. And if I am in a position to advise His Excellency Governor Fubara, I will advise him to toe the path of political solution to this problem, because as the government is facing all the distractions, he's affected. It will affect his performance. And being a young governor, we do not want him to fail. It will be our dream that the governor performs very well. Already he has good policies on ground to take Rivers State out of the wood, but the crisis in the state is the challenge. So His Excellency the Governor should look inwards, call his legal team inwards, and ask for proper legal interpretation of all these crises. And I think they will give him the best of advice.
Now, with respect to the governor's statement that, that his government is already in the process of preparing the 2025 appropriation bill. And this is in response to the 7 days ultimatum given to him by Rivers State House of Assembly to present the 2024 budget. If the governor is saying that in response to presenting the 2024 budget, that they are already preparing the 2025 budget, is the governor insinuating that he's not going to present that budget? Or does that statement mean that the budget is already far gone, like he has been spending from the budget, and I mean it's a non-issue? The issue now is the 2025 budget. Does that statement mean that the governor will not present the 2024 budget?
Well, he said it himself. The governor said made the statement himself through his aide. Whatever the aide says means he was authorized to say by the principal. Okay, if an aide says whatever the principal didn't instruct, there will be a retraction of statement. But till this moment, His Excellency have not retracted the fact that his aide insisted that they are preparing 2025 budget and all that. But the thing is, the 2024 budget already is in contention. If you look at some quarters, arguments arrive that the budget is unlawful. Yes, in my own opinion as a lawyer, I think so too. The 2024 budget, wherein the state is spending from currently, it's unlawful. It's an illegal budget.
Why do you say so?
Yes, I think so. I say so because, one, the law is trite as to what the quorum of the House will be. This is a budget that will be made or is made in respect of the entire state, to develop the state, to pay workers, contractors, projects ongoing, all are Rivers budgets, okay? But in this regard, assembly members that are representing the 31 state constituency in the state, one died, and we have 30 left. Then, the seat of 27 are in contention, okay? Then in this regard now, 4 remaining. Do not forget that before the assumption of my friend Edison Ehe as the speaker, okay, or before the recognition by Justice Dana Gogo, Edison Ehe and 3 other members were suspended by the House. That suspension was never lifted. That suspension still stands. It stood until the point where, you know, the disagreement now became very viral in the House. That suspension never lifted, okay? That is on one part. Then secondly, having assumed the role of the speaker, how could you have passed a budget for Rivers people with 4 members of the House?
3.
3 members with him, as at then when he was the speaker.
He's the speaker, can he vote?
No, we are looking at issues generally now. Okay. We are looking at how many they are to assume quorum. So that quorum at that point was not formed. And this is a constitutional matter.
Is the constitutional provision to third majority?
Yes, of course, 1/3.
For appropriation bill.
Yes.
Because I know there are legislations that the prerequisite is 1/3, and there are
some
for 2/3.
But in this regard,
in the case of appropriation bill is 2/3.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, let's say 2/3. No, the proper quorum should be 1/3.
All right.
The proper quorum should be 1/3. Then now, can 4 members of the House form a 1/3? It's not possible. I'm not a mathematician, but at least with my layman knowledge of mathematics, I know that there is no way 4 members can form a 2/3 quorum, 1/3 quorum for the House. It's not possible. See, we should leave out politics in everything we do and face reality. The truth should be spoken at all times. Playing politics with even things of the law is the reason why the country, the state is not moving forward. People have tended not to speak the truth anymore because they want benefits from somewhere. Some are looking for contracts. Some are looking for, so some are thinking, oh, if I go out and make this statement, my leader in my community will say, oh, I have a loyal young man. We don't work like that. We don't function like that. Because if we continue to function like that, the society will be in shambles. We need a better society. We need a better River State, for God's sake. So, should be political solution to this crisis. But if no one is seeking the political solution, then they should allow the courts to do.
Talking of allowing the court now, you raised 2 concerns to the legitimacy of the budget. The first concern is the procedural concern according to legislative procedure, that it has to be at least a minimum of 1/3. And in Rivers State, 32 seats, 1/3 should be minimum of 11 persons.
Thereabout, right. Between 11 and 16.
So we are looking at 11, let's say 11 as against 4 members. Now, the second concern you raised was the ruling of Justice Omotosho
and Justice Okorowo
cancelling the presentation of that budget to Edison Ehe and ordering the governor to represent the budget, which the governor has not done so far. So now, what is the way forward? Because the truth remains that Rivers people are waiting for the expiration of the 7 days. You would agree with me?
Yes.
What is the way forward? What is going to happen? Especially in view that an ex parte order has been granted by another state high court, barring the CJN and the clerk from interfacing with Rivers State House of Assembly. Now, talking about ex parte order and legislative issues from a state high court, I don't know, does the state high court have the jurisdiction to entertain that matter and also dish out ex parte order, in view of the fact that it is directly related to Rivers State House of Assembly?
Thank you very much. You see, what is happening in Rivers State, I personally believe it is opening up new jurisprudence for we lawyers.
A new locus.
Yes, it's opening up. It's opening up new jurisprudence,
okay,
which the court in turn will decide whether it is a locus classicus case at that time or not. Yes, because it is becoming very dramatic here in Rivers State, very, very dramatic. Now, the High Court again. I have personally looked at the provisions of the Constitution, where 251 mandates the state high courts on its jurisdiction. In my own opinion, in my own legal opinion, the state high court does not have jurisdiction to dish out that ex parte order. They do not have the jurisdiction to do that.
Against the
Yes,
State House of Assembly.
yes, in my own opinion, the state high court does not have jurisdiction to do that. You see, it is just like repeating same mistake.
Is this deliberate?
In my own opinion,
It's intentional.
with what I know about Nigerian politicians, the move is intentional. Intentional to buy time. That is just the intent.
Is it ex parte order meant to give
No,
the person
actually,
praying for that
yes.
other time?
What is ex parte order? Ex parte order comes by way of emergency. If there is an urgent situation that needs to be ameliorated as quickly as possible, but approach the right court. Approach the court with the proper jurisdiction. So that this at the end of the day, court will not throw them out.
The question would be, why is the Rivers State government always interfacing with the state high courts when they also have access to federal high courts? Is it easier to influence the state high court? Is it easier to get, because, I mean, if the appeal court has ruled on jurisdiction, why continue to do so? And then secondly, why would the judges continue to do so in contempt of the ruling of the appeal court?
Yes, you will agree with me that all over the world, we have both incorruptible and corruptible judges.
Okay.
All over the world, no exception, okay? But judges are being too rascal in this country today. Respectfully, I must say this. If Nigeria today goes down, the judiciary should be blamed. The judiciary should be blamed because the judiciary is seen as the hope of the common man. But with the rascal orders, window shopping orders, coming from here, left, right, and center, it's beginning to make the common man feel that no hope here again in the judiciary. That's why you see that the jungle justice is just on the increase. People now tend to even do local arbitration than judiciary. I was in a meeting yesterday where, we are trying to solve a family land dispute. The other party said, oh, I'm not interested. Anything court, no, I'm not going to court. Even if they sue me to court, I will not go. I prefer to go to juju. That is where I will find truth. Ordinarily, it shouldn't be so. The courts should be a court where truth and justice is upheld. But even me as a lawyer, I can't guarantee anyone anymore. With what is happening in the judiciary, it simply means the highest bidder have it all. It shouldn't be so.
Interesting.
It shouldn't be so. It's so annoying what the system is becoming, and nobody is talking. Nobody's demonstrating again like they did the time of Goodluck. When people slept on the road, big names who I wouldn't want to mention, slept on the road calling Goodluck names. What has happened today? What has happened? Nobody is talking. Everybody is just silent, looking at the system. It shouldn't be so.
All right. Finally, before we move on to Delta State very quickly. Now, in your opinion, what do you foretell at the expiration of these 7 days? Because now the concern is that these rifts in the Rivers State House of Assembly and also the rift between the Rivers State House of Assembly and the executive might plunge the state into anarchy.
Well, it is an obvious fact that, you know, in government sometimes disagreements will ensue. You know, what is happening in the state is just a question of who gets what, how and when. That's exactly why we are where we are today. Okay? Now, to foretell what might happen at the end of the 7 days, even though, in my opinion, I think the Rivers State High Court does not have the jurisdiction to dish out that ex parte order, okay? But that does not rule out the fact that that order emanated from a court of competent jurisdiction. So at this point, the assembly members cannot do anything unless that order is vacated by a higher court. Yeah, that is just the truth. That is the position of the law.
Right.
Yes, because it's emanated from a court of competent jurisdiction. So it is for the higher court, the superior court, to tell us whether the trial court at that instance had the jurisdiction or not.
All right.